Three.
Welcome back to part two with the resume of Tiffany St. Germain. Well, as we left for the break, we were talking about how they wanted to keep you at Sony, Warner.
At Warner, yeah.
Rather.
And Gary and Alan, they were supportive. They kept me there, and I stayed for another year. And then when I was offered the position at CBC Television, I went to them, and they were very gracious and appreciated the time that I had been there. And I've remained friends with them since then, and started at CBC. And while it was a very challenging position, I was in value creation. So my role was to work with sales and marketing and go into clients like GM and figure out how, instead of you making $150,000 on selling spots and dots, so just advertising on the programs, take their major properties like Trudeau miniseries and 50th anniversary and partner them with the big corporate clients like GM to turn it into $1 million property. So that's what I did there. It was very tricky because at CBC you've got the programming side that's very puritanical, and then you've got the marketing side that's all about money. And I was somewhere in the middle because I would work with both, but I loved it. I loved what I learned there.
What do you think you learned there most?
I think I learned how to really work the two sides of a system like that, so that and I think that's a gift that I've had, but I think it was great to be able to pull those two sides in. And also just the experience in working with major corporate clients. So working with the GMs and Volkswagens and having budgets to be able to do really exciting projects and knowing what you could do with the right amount of money. I think it's important to be responsible for big budgets so that you can figure out how you spend those budgets wisely. And so even though there was certainly, I was still working in a corporate structure and I still had all those, things that I couldn't wait to break out of, it was absolutely experience that I needed.
But you also did something like with premiums and incentives. Mm-hmm. I found that fascinating.
That was actually Warner and even at Polygram, I worked with premiums and incentives a lot. And that was building things with corporate partners. And that was, in the music industry, to a smaller scale, what I was able to take to CBC, and that's something that they saw in me when I applied for the job at CBC, because most of the people that they hired were more in packaged goods, less so. Music tends to be in the past, they'd say, oh, well, how hard is it to market a Madonna record? So they didn't look at them as real, true marketers. But because of the experience in premiums and incentives, you're really working with corporates so much that they liked that experience. So that was what brought me through.
So then, CBC, there you are, charging away.
Yeah,
moved around a bit.
I moved around a little bit. I went back to Sony actually on a contract for 6 months, which turned into a full-time position. And at the time, it was funny. I was going to try to start my own business, and again, I had a great boss, Therese Garnett, who's now with Wiley Publishing. And at one point, when I was in the contract, somebody had left their position as senior manager of strategic. And she came to me and she said, I'd really like you to come on and take this role on, because I had done it for a little while this person was on sick leave. And I said, I appreciate it. That's really nice, but I'm really interested in doing my own thing. And she said, well, but if you look at this as your own thing, you don't know exactly what you want to do yet, so look at this as your own thing. And I have faith in you, and I know you can do it, and I'm just going to let you run with it.
That's cool.
And I was really impressed by that.
Yeah.
Most bosses don't do that. And
No.
She was true to her word. She really did let me do that. So I did stay. I said, how much money do you have? And she came up with it, and I stayed for a bit. And then Sony and BMG merged, and that's when they packaged most of the Sony people out, that's what enabled me to start my own business, finally.
Going to starting your own business, ShopAware.
Yes, ShopAware Inc. was started, and ShopAware.com was the first part of that, which is now going through its restructuring. We're about to relaunch our 4.0, which is a brand new ShopAware. We're pretty excited about that.
And it's an online, it's a place where people can rate the service experience, talk about whether they had good or bad. It's really a social shopping network.
Absolutely. It's an online magazine and consumer review forum, so people can go on there, they can talk about their experiences. Businesses can promote themselves through the positive word of mouth from their customers.
You were ahead of the game.
A bit, yeah.
You really were, because when you did this, Facebook was nowhere near what it is today.
Facebook wasn't out yet when we launched, and we were ahead of the game and short on cash. So we established ourselves, and we actually did have worldwide exposure. But it's taken a few years just to get to the point. You kind of do what you need to do to get things going. But I do think we were a little ahead of the curve, and now we're hoping that it actually becomes the Facebook for businesses so that they can promote themselves even more so, utilizing Facebook and
I think
utilizing other social media.
Yeah, you're ready now to poise them, take it to the next level. You already have the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Last part to talk about is on top marketing, but really it's premier product right now. It's something that's making you smile.
It is. It's a very exciting time for us. We started on top marketing. When we launched Shop Aware, we had a lot of people coming to us saying, oh, we love your marketing. Who does your marketing and your branding? And we said, well, that's actually our business. Our entire history had been working in marketing for these various entertainment properties. So we like to have a lot of fun with it. So we started the marketing company because people were asking us for help. And so we decided to launch that. We have spent a few years doing that. And more we started just really still loving creating our own products. Scott, my partner, had come up with the idea when all of the apps were coming up for the iPhone. He said, we need to create an Apple app, and started coming up with different ideas. And he came up with one that I really enjoyed, and we developed a bit further. And so we have submitted to Apple for 10.4 CB, and we're expecting that to be approved any day now on iTunes. And it's a pretty exciting time. It's a very dynamic app. It kind of goes across the board, and from that, the experience in building that, we started to put together On Top Mobile, which is to offer mobile app development for the corporate side of things. So it's pretty exciting.
No shortage of excitement.
No.
So where will I see you in a year from now?
Probably doing something totally different. Still in marketing, still having fun, still developing our own products. I think more and more developing our own stuff. That's where we really get jazzed. And every once in a while.
Lifestyle.
Yes.
You're writing lifestyle work.
Yes,
we only have about 30 seconds.
A
so
spin-off of some of the shopware writing and other writing I've done. I'm doing more in the lifestyle writing and hoping to have my own column online and potentially elsewhere.
Cool. Well, thanks for being part of this.
Thank you.
I think people will find your story fascinating. I did.
Thank you very much.
I'm a big fan.
Me too. Of you.
Thanks. So that was Tiffany St. Germain of On Top Marketing, On Top Mobile, shopaware.com, and she used to run all of Sony and CBC.
Right.
And CBC.
Right.
Okay, I'm aggrandizing. Anyways, thanks for being a part of this, and hope you enjoyed yourself.